Hello, this is Josh Hunter. I'm here on the planet Earth, and I just as obviously as usual, there's a lot going on. I'm trying to remain focused, and I mean, all right. So first, I'll say today I had a kind of a lovely experience. I'm out here, every day outside, and I have these two solar-powered batteries. And there's this guy. I think it's interesting because the last, a video I made about there's this issue that I've been having with certain types of people, like they can't say numbers twice, and I don't like it. And there was this guy one day, and he came around asking me for food, and like I think it's a really like when homeless people ask other homeless people for food, like I think it's silly, like it's one of the most absurd things, like to be in a place of such abundance and still say no, give me what you have. Like I don't like it. So I'll admit, yeah, I had a bunch of food around me, but that's like it's because food is like the only way I get like any type of joy these days. Well, not like any type of joy, but I mean it's like there's no one, anyway. And so today, after like or about like 10 minutes or so after I, posted this video, that guy, he walks by and he kicks my solar panels. Like he just like kicks them off. And I don't know, like I don't know what he expected to happen. Like I don't know if he was just baiting me, if he was like, oh, maybe he's like lonely, he just wants someone to talk to or something. Like I don't know, like why are you kicking my solar panels? It's like it's stupid. But anyway, something's been happening, and I don't know. One of the things that gives me comfort is my understanding of language, specifically the English language. I like it a lot, and in fact, in high school, I used to. Just before I had transferred to a new school, we had some test or something, and I got it. I don't know if everyone got it, but they gave us a certificate, and the certificate said it was for like something. It was called a Word Master. So when I transferred to the new school, like I kept on telling them, I'm a Word Master. I'm a Word Master. And oddly enough, the gal who I told this to the most was. We were having lunch one time, and she said, "You know what you look like? You look like an advertisement for birth control." Which is funnier now. I mean, it was funny then, but it's actually gotten funnier. Anyway, so but something's been happening like over the last week, maybe a week and a half. I've been unable to tell like if I'm being polite. Like most of the time, like I'm talking and I'm very sure that I've taken everyone into consideration and I'm not offending anyone, or at least not needlessly. But like over the last week and a half, like I can't tell like who's being offended. Like I feel like I don't know if I'm like forgetting someone, because I do my utmost to take almost or every point of view into consideration, and not just now, just even the extrapolated or the potential futures as well I take into consideration. All right, well, if A happens, then B happens, and then C. But if C goes this way, then you got to go, CA and CB, and there's a whole set of things that I do to make sure that I have not ignored anyone needlessly. But I don't, because like I said, it's not like a marathon, but like I said, I don't, I haven't. There isn't any, there's no backup here. There isn't anyone who's like, oh, you can just come hang out for a little bit and, rest up. Like I haven't slept on a bed. The only beds that I have slept on in 7 years are in jail cells. Okay? I've been on, perhaps 2 couches, 3, but never, it's not because anyone wanted me there. In fact, the only people who have been offering me beds this entire time are police officers. You know, that's what. Because sometimes I'm getting to this point where, because I'm like, you know, I'm wondering, like, should I just try and get myself arrested just so I can get some good sleep, dude? The last time I got arrested, I was fucking so happy because I got to sleep on a bed for 3 fucking days. It was nice. It was so nice. I got to lay down, like nobody's bothering me. I'm getting food, and I'm just, you know, it is less annoying to be in jail. Is what I'm saying. Like people have forgotten, like, how to not be annoying, and like everyone I meet is all right. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So this particular video, this is going to be a letter to myself, me, Josh Hunter. So I'm gonna say, you know, this is to Josh Hunter. I don't know if I'll survive the next, you know, however many. Oh, actually, we'll do a double. Okay, this is first to Josh Hunter 20 years from now. All right, Josh, if this video happens to last 20 years, it's important for you to remember at this point, because I wouldn't believe if I just say this, but if I say it to me, anyway, you were doing your best, okay, and they drew first blood. Okay, remember, all right? Whatever happens, they drew first blood. And, you know, I mean, you were doing your best. You tried to be considerate. You tried to do what you could. And so don't feel bad, okay? Don't feel like you were... There's no reason for guilt. There's no reason to feel as though you didn't... you were honest. You were honest, and at this time, you know, and so... I don't feel that I would have any reason to be guilty or to feel as though I did something, or to feel as though I did less than I could 20 years from now. But it's hard for me to, you know, predict what kind of person I would be, considering there are so few things that have occurred in my life. Occur? You know, Curaga, actually. Or is it Cura? Where's my Final Fantasy crew at? Okay, sorry. It's a good game. Or GG, maybe? Okay, so, Josh, 20 years from now, and that's a general, I mean, you could go for 15 or even 25, you know, but just a generation from now, you know, if this video survives, I hope that you have not become like an asshole because you got what you wanted. Although by my counts, it doesn't look like we're ever gonna get what we want. But oh, that's so. If you've become an asshole, even at this point, I would not say it's your fault. I would say, you know, the circumstances drove you to it. And you could have been like a decent person, but after all this shit, I mean, I don't know, because right now I'm just, you know, I'm just on a marathon, you know, I just keep going and going, and nobody's, I mean, no one's, I haven't stopped, I haven't stopped to rest, I haven't stopped to anything, I wear the same clothes every day, like I'm not, there's no, you know, I get to drink every now and then, but that's not like, you know, it's not rest, it's not, you know, no one's like, oh, all right, I've already been over that. So, if you have friends, you know, 20 years from now or however many years from now, make sure you still keep up these same, you know, make sure you vet, continue to vet, even if it seems like you shouldn't, you know, vet, make sure that the people you vouch for will vouch for you, and make sure that, you know, you've done what you can, and maybe you've gotten over the whole paranoia thing, but sometimes I think it's important to pay attention. Don't get too comfortable, unless you have real guarantees. You need at least 50 guarantees to make it, to get into a state where you don't have to be looking over your back, everyone else's back, everything else. You need at least 50 guarantees. So, now, the next thing is, this is for if reincarnation is real, and by some chance I do get reincarnated, this is for... I guess the next version of me. Hello, you have successfully discovered your previous self, and I am your previous incarnation, and so I'm not quite sure what things are like wherever you are, and maybe this is kind of scary. I hope that you're not frightened. I want to let you know that I have deliberately created the world in which you now live to make sure that you remember certain things and not forget, because this is a very, by my count anyway, in this life it has been a very rare opportunity to have so much access to so much information, so much general help, all the things that make for a well-balanced, healthy, full, and comfortable life. So if you've been able to determine without a doubt that I am your previous incarnation, or if I'm not mistaken, I might be your future incarnation as well, I think it's important that you know that I have done my utmost to make sure that the life that you lead is as wonderful as it could possibly be. I do not hate myself, therefore I do not hate you. I have taken into consideration very, very many factors, even things that nobody would ever particularly want to agree with. One of the foundational principles which I would like to adhere to is to ignore, or it's not a principle, but a recommendation is to ignore the entire quantum realm. Okay, do not worry about anything smaller than the atoms or whatever. Don't, because you'll just break apart. Don't worry. Don't worry about that type of stuff. Okay, so stay away from the quantum stuff, and also stay away from stay away from stuff that's too big, and stay away from stuff that's too small. Okay, because there's no stay Newtonian. I brought this up before, but I'm bringing it up in this video. In our time, we had a guy by the name of Newton, and that's what. In our time, we had a guy, not our time, but just like a couple of hundred years previous to my time, whatever. And his ideas about gravity established our basic understandings of physics in our realm. But now people are discovering with their microscopes, with their microscopes and their telescopes, distant places, and they're investigating, and they're finding out things, and they're building technologies based on these realms where gravity has no effect. And yet gravity is extremely important in our world, because if you start living in a world that has no gravity, you don't want to live in a world that has no gravity, or you do not want to live in a world where the gravity which we are accustomed to cannot be applied or appreciated as it normally is. And I don't know how you got to this point where you are able to recognize your previous life, because if you recognize me, you might recognize the other versions of me which I have not yet recognized. So let me say at this point, I also have not recognized previous incarnations, but if by some chance you did recognize other incarnations previous to, and you've just discovered this one, you can extrapolate the conscious frequency of, or you can take out the conscious frequency of me not knowing, and perhaps turn that into some type of a substance that you can use. If the other lives were too shitty and you want to forget, you can use my feeling of not knowing and use that as a type of sedative to prevent any particular agitations that may come about from knowing too much, or not enough even. So I just want to make sure that, I mean, you could have done that with any of the videos, but with this specifically, I think it might be the most potent. And so use this to medicate yourself, to help you get over the pain of knowing about lives that perhaps you never should have known anything about, if that is the case. And if not, I'm sure you can find some other use for it. I'm glad that you remembered me, because so far I've been extremely grateful for all the things that have happened to me, and I hope that my life has been of benefit to you, you being me. We shall live forever! Alright, have a good day.